Sensand has two products, SLM, our land management, and our trading platform. So these two products are like Jira and Confluence. They work interoperably, but you don't have to use both. You can use just the land management product or just the trading part of the business. But if you own a property or have an asset that you want to trade, you can link data from your operational environment into your tradable asset. So if you had 100 head of cattle, you could sell those 100 head of cattle through the platform with all the tag data and the history and provenance and all of that if you wanted to. But it's mostly focused on carbon derivative trading of those markets. So diving into SLM, which is where we spend most of our time in One Basin Universe in particular, it is a software as a SaaS application, software as a service app, very similar to Salesforce or Xero, but with a partner add-ons section. So for example, you go into the marketplace page, which is over here, and I'll go through that in detail, but any point solution in the industry that we want to upgrade lives in here. And the approach that we've got on the data sharing side of this, or the data standardization, is that once something is integrated, it's in the environment, but we enforce the end state. So weather, temperature is this, we measure it like that. Wind speed, humidity, direction, geolocations for GPS, etc. It's generally the industry best practice, but that's the approach that we take. And then once you add anything to it, it's standardized to that output layer so that everything else is interoperable. So now a rule could be created that says if the temperature drops below X and something else happens on Y, then turn Z on or send a test message to me or whatever it is that you might want to do. That standardized layer is the way that we enable all of those interactions. So a part of this project that's relevant is in this in particular is deciding what those data schemes are and how we take industry and research and other feedback and amend it in a way that keeps it interoperable. And obviously another big question that I've been raising and talking about is how does ownership of data and the end state change in a First Nations lens or need to be augmented or considered? Because philosophically, the way that we approach it is that if you are a landowner and you've got like satellite imagery and drone and scouting notes and all sorts of stuff that you might have in a site, then you want to, you own that data. If it's integrated from a third-party integration, the property owner owns the data, right? But what happens if that data's been shared or has some licensing or something like that? This is an area of research, I think, that's got some questions to answer. So just getting again into the platform, I move this over here. If you've got satellite imagery like NDVIs or whatever it might be, you can order it for any shape file in the environment for any date at any range. We've got a range of different things that I'll quickly show you, but if we want to just look at some of the variables on here, so I actually have access to this site all the time, so I've got thermal, RGB imagery. I haven't got any infrared for this one, unfortunately, which I should get around to doing. And you can fly a drone, any commercial drone, upload any of the data types, and we'll process it and turn it into an orthomosaic for you. And then you can use another thing to go and do whatever you want to do, right? So if you had another AI that counted trees or cars in a car park, it would count and process it. The way you access for that would be you click on the applications, process drone imagery, upload the file, name it, whatever it is you want to name it. Do you want to chop the image to a particular field or boundary, and then set the quality, run it, come back in an hour, and it'll be complete. Maybe 2 if you do a very big one. Similar with imagery and layers, any app that you've got access to, you can order the imagery type for any or all of your boundaries. So first of there until today, and I want one every month. Submit, come back in 15 minutes, 5 minutes, they will all be there for that particular layer. Now that's got as many properties, as many workspaces and permissions and such as you like, and I'll go to this site because I've got devices all over it. I've got a weather station over here. I've got a HF Yep, RHFO1 over there, and I've got a cattle tag over here. There's actually another device on there that I haven't onboarded yet at the middle of that paddock. And this property has those devices, it has these things, those layers, whatever it might be that has actually run at that site. So that's what this particular property, this farm has. Now, app stores. When you want to build an app, you can publish it and send it in over here. I will actually show you one thing. I created this random massive big shape file the other day, and we've got all sorts of layers that we've brought in from SLGA with all sorts of different indexes and everything. I just ran 5 of them. So this is an available water capacity. Any data layer from any of the public data sources, we can build the app and the color schema configuration for and publish it as its own app layer to order, right? So let's select that boundary, not the actual data, and then order, just go here. Any of these, and there's hundreds of these, we can add as many of these as we want, orders it for any shapefile, and then you've got that data and you can use it, and then you can create a new app on top of it that uses another app as a dependency. So that's a bit of a walkthrough of just some of the types of ways that we can use this. When you publish an app, it would live in the marketplace page, high resolution imagery. I've got AI and weed counters and all sorts of stuff on here. Each one of those has its own price that's set by the vendor, and you control that by going into your applications. And I have a lot of apps that I've built or tested, and you set up and configure all of those in here. Now this app is empty obviously, but this is where you build your metadata schema for how you want it to work, who you want to get it, the distribution, and details on publishing, pricing, structure, etc. Then you publish it. Build your own webhooks and APIs and everything. And last but not least, just to round out, every one of these devices on here can be added to the environment because we've got connectors to the service providers for these. So each one of these is an hour to set up and configure and run, and it's published and live because we've already got the SIM cards and we've got LoRaWAN connectors and blah, blah, blah. It's a configuration for each one of these, similar for layers like SLGA, which means if we've got data sets from random places, you can build and onboard them out yourself without needing GitHub access and code from the platform, like an internal. We've built it so you can integrate that yourself.